Welcome to the Garage Network podcast. Join us and the occasional special guest as we discuss everything automotive, from fixing cars as a technician, owning an automotive workshop or business, overall work-life balance, and even the occasional laugh. In this episode of Wednesday Night Live, we discuss leadership in the workshop and our businesses, how we break the news to our customers that a previous shop has done the wrong thing, whether it be diagnosing or repairing. Also discuss the upcoming AAAA expo in Melbourne. So we hope that you guys enjoy.
You know what?
We're live.
We're live, yeah?
I think
We're
we are.
already live.
We're live.
We're live.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So this
This
has been
day and age.
Hello.
So we are
Hello.
live. It does go live from earlier than we thought. There we go. That's one way to get caught out.
okay. There you go. You lucky you didn't say anything incriminating there, Mike.
Yeah, I can be careful.
Mate,
Make
your-
a bet.
Give him
hair's
time.
out.
Give
Your
him
hair's out of
time.
control. You need another lockdown trim, my man.
I do.
Yeah, it's going nuts.
No, I'm going to go to no. Well, actually, if I can say, well, no, we'll talk about this later. But I need to go and get I need a proper haircut for a photo shoot for a specific thing that I got.
Oh, okay. Well,
They
you know
want
what?
it for their
Maybe we can address that later. Why don't we run around?
Gay Men's Monthly. Sorry. Anyway,
Why don't we run
Seriously.
around the block and introduce ourselves for those of us for those viewers that don't know who we are. Do you want to start, Costa?
Yeah, sure. So I am Costa from Smart Mechanics Sydney, and we also have Mike.
Yeah, I'm Mike Carnavola from 313 Automotive and the Garage Network.
There you go. And my name's Peter from Sutherland and Robert Street Automotives.
and I'm Jeff from Sydney Eco Tuning and the Garage Network also.
There
I
you
want
go.
to be from the Garage Network too.
Well, you are.
Well,
you
it's
got
too
the-
late.
you
It's
got
too
the
late.
Background.
No, I've got background. I've won.
You got the background. You are from
Stole
the
it.
Garage Network.
Stole
Well, we're all from the Garage Network. So,
Yeah,
you know, I think it's been, what, has it been a month, guys?
it's been just
each other
over. So
last?
we had a bit of a week extra, but we'll try and catch that up over the next couple of weeks. So we might have an earlier Friday Night Live in 2 to 3 weeks rather than the traditional 4.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
Wednesday Night Live. I think now we're slowly converting over.
Well, maybe we can ask some of the guys that are watching you what they prefer, and maybe they can throw that in the comments, whether it's a Friday night
true.
live or a Wednesday night live. I think Wednesday seems to work well for a lot of people. So
And we do record them. So if you do want to sort of catch up on any old ones, they are there. They're on the obviously the group. And also some of them are starting to get loaded onto our podcast channel, and you'll find some of them on our YouTube as well.
okay, what's the podcast, Costa?
For all of it, the Garage Network for our podcast. We're on Spotify for now. Still waiting for a few other those channels to get back to us for verification, but we're on Spotify. Also, obviously, for our YouTube channel, which again, the Garage Network, you'll find us all there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I guess the
And-
question is going to be moving forward at some point. We're going to have to work out whether we go back to being face to face and we go back to.
Well, this is true as well, isn't it?
I do enjoy face to face.
Well, I like the fact that we can get some lollies in the center of the table. And
See,
and go
whenever we
nuts.
do face to face, Pete always brings us red frogs.
Yeah,
So I get home, we've
Well, I
got everything's
Snakes
healthy here.
alive.
We've got no sugar in this household.
I got through them. I got through them pretty quickly, actually, just before we went live. But
I've got
what's
I've got chia seeds.
I
Yeah,
can't
it's not,
see.
it's not the
see.
same as red frogs.
They're
Can't see.
invisible, Costa.
Very healthy. Too
That's how,
healthy,
that's how much calories are in them. They can't
Too
even see
healthy.
them.
mate. So tell me, what have we got on the go tonight?
So we've got
Costa?
So we're running on 3 topics we're going to be probably touching on. The very first one, which I think you'll probably take the lead on this as our resident business coach and business extraordinaire.
Sure.
I just wanted to use that word.
I wouldn't go that far, but you know, thank
I
you.
just like
Yeah.
to use that sort of terminology. So we'll be talking about leadership.
Yep.
And sort of how you use leadership in your business. Then we'll be moving on to a second topic, which is sort of breaking the news to a potential customer that either a previous repair wasn't done properly,
Yeah.
or maybe misdiagnosed. How do we break that news without sort of throwing our fellow techs under a bus? Or if you do, who knows? We'll see what the conversation leads to. And then we're going to have a bit of a chat about the AAAA expo coming in was it March next year?
April.
I think it's April.
next year.
Yeah,
Move to April next year.
April, and why you should book now, because the Formula One's on the same weekend. So
yeah, so a little bit about the expo, why we go, what's to see. Like Mike said, getting quick. I think hotels are getting very scarce already, and a few more announcements where people have to wait to hear the announcements at the end, without letting too much out of the bag.
Secrets. Don't let the secrets out.
There's a couple secrets in there that people don't know about. So secrets. There is. Unless you've been going around, no one knows the secrets.
Just don't tell Mike the secrets, because then it won't be a secret.
We'll turn him off once. Once the secrets come out, we just mute him off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So Pete, I'd love to hand this over to you, mate.
I might take the lead
your thing. Yeah.
I might take the lead on this. And it's come off the back of now I don't know. I know that most of you guys, aside from Jeff, is with Capricorn, and they offer a monthly magazine called Ignition, and it's come off the back of that. And what one of the recent articles was essentially how to attract and retain new generation of staff, and culture in your workplace, and does it matter? And one of the, and I highlighted it in there because I thought it was really, really cool. It was so they sort of gave you a list of things that you can do in your workplaces, and one of them importantly said, focus on your leadership and the talent will follow. And I'm going to read this phrase to you because I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to ask you guys some questions about how you guys lead your team as well. But it said, finally, remember that achieving a good workplace, creating a place where people want to work every day and where they'll want to stay for the long term, is down to you. The behavior you exhibit and the behavior you tolerate set the tone for everything and everyone else. Set your company values and don't just live by them. Let your employees see that you live by them. Do that, and hopefully you'll attract and retain quality staff for years, perhaps even decades. That resonated with me because I'm one of those guys that really wants to lead by example. So I want to show the guys in my shop that, it's not just them in the shop doing the work, for the business. I'm there as part and parcel of it, and I'm working just as hard, and I'm leading by example. I'm showing them, that I can lead and steer the ship. And I think my guys have appreciated that, especially through some of the tougher times through COVID, showing them that we're just as committed and just as dedicated, and we're not going to sort of throw anyone under the bus. We're really committed to the staff, their development, and I try to sort of lead by example. So I thought that was a pretty good little snippet, and I just sort of wanted to go around the panel and see how you guys feel about that, and how you guys lead your team. Is there any sort of certain things that you do to build culture and lead the team in particular? I might start with Costa.
Oh no, you pinpointed us out.
I have.
I was looking at Mike the whole time. Look, I'll be first to admit, I obviously started business at 19, 20 years old. I dare say I probably wasn't a very good leader for quite a long time. It was something that I think wasn't first. What's a word for it? Wasn't
priority,
my first.
maybe?
Yeah, it wasn't my first priority, or even probably wasn't a natural leader either.
Yep.
I think I was more of a doer, so I'd go and do things rather than ask people to help me with things, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I think it was definitely a skill that I had to learn, and probably didn't learn it until even a couple of years ago, to be honest. So it was a bit of a longer road, probably for me, learning to understand what it means to actually be a good leader. I think, I do believe I've got it under my hat now, and I do believe that leading by example, like you said, is probably one of the biggest ones, and making it more of a team culture, and everyone's got each other's backs, and all that sort of stuff is very important, and building a place where people want to come to, if that makes sense. So when you come to work, you actually look forward to it. It's not just work; it's actually enjoyable as well. Again, these are all things that I sort of started to learn sort of later on, which is fine, because it's a learning process. And I mean, end of the day, if you make mistakes, you learn from them, and you become a better leader or better business owner or person even. So I think that was some tough lessons learned. But I mean, I definitely would consider myself a decent leader for now. And I think that, yeah, like I was saying, trying to build a place that is not just there to make money, but also, like I said, again, enjoyable, fun, educational. Like now, especially I'm trying to focus a lot on education for my future staff that we will be having over the next few months, hopefully. That's a plan.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my goals for now as a part of being the leadership.
And these leadership skills you just acquired over the time, over the time that you were sort of running business, or were there certain courses that you did, or things that you sort of picked up over time from other people, or
some over time? Now, not to boost your ego at all, but definitely looking at how you do things. I'm going to have to.
Don't do it.
My ego, man.
Even just when we catch up for our coffee and go for a walk and just listening to how you do your thing, it definitely inspires me to be a better leader. And I think I've definitely taken some of what you're doing into account when I do that, and a little bit of what Mike's doing. Even then, when speaking to Jeff, I might grab some of his ideas, but even speaking to other people in the industry as well, seeing how they operate and seeing what may work for me. But I get so much value from it when we just catch up for a coffee and have a chat. I get so much out of that, and I think that's definitely helped me prioritize a bit better.
Okay. That's nice. That's nice of you to say that. I mean, I pick up a lot of my leadership skills the same way you do from other mentors of mine as well. Guys that I sort of look up to, older sort of guys that I know and that we catch up as well. And I sort of pick up some leadership skills from that too. But mate, I like the way Mike also leads his team. Mike, I want to hear your standpoint on this and how how you sort of have built your leaderships, because I know that, because I've seen firsthand the way you've built your culture in the shop, and that stems from leadership, right? So and you're a boatsman, so every ship has a captain, and the captain steers the ship. I want to know how you've been steering the ship, and was there anything you've learned over the time, any sort of wisdom that you can part on to us as well in terms of leadership, and how you've sort of found that over the years?
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out where to start, because you sort of go. I took over. I mean, I bought the business of my dad in 2013, and it was, we all. I think someone said this a while ago. You all start on your own, and as a captain of a ship, or as not a ship. I don't own a ship, but as I still clean the toilets. I don't ask anyone to do a job that I wouldn't be comfortable doing myself. I don't ask the boys to clean the bathrooms. I clean the bathrooms every Thursday or Friday. So I do. Well, they do now. I have to say, look, guys, I'm flat out. I can't. Can someone do the downstairs toilet? I'll do upstairs. But I would never ask them to do something that I wouldn't feel comfortable doing myself. I think leadership is something that I'm still learning, because I started out working in a family business for my dad and my uncle. Bought the business of them, was on my own or with my dad, and pretty much on my own for a period. And then you have to learning how to manage people is very different to, in the early days for me, it was really difficult, because you find it, by the time I explain to someone how to do this, I might as well just go and do it myself. Right? Which is right. And then it's like, Jesus, I've explained that. I mean, I like educating people, and I really like showing people how to do things, and you get to, and I mean, I guess there's different aspects of that, because there's culture. I built a workshop that I spend 12 hours a day in, right? And it's got to be a nice place to be in. I thought, I'm building something, it's got to be nice, and I want it to be nice for me, because I'm spending a lot of time there. My kids are sometimes there after school, so it's got to be a nice environment, nice place, and it's got to be a happy environment. I think as a mechanic, we're very good at understanding. I mean, I've been lucky that my dad taught me patience.
Yeah.
And I think that's inside you, as if you're, and the way you deal with customers, and this will come into the next topic as well, but the way that you deal with your customers, the way that you carry yourself, and the things that happen within your shop, and the way that you go, and your morals and and honesty. I think honesty, integrity, and being a nice, good, tolerant person are all the attributes you need just to be. That's all you really need.
Yeah.
If you're honest, you're not dudding anyone, including your customers or your staff. You're not trying to milk too much out of, you're not trying to push people too hard. I've had to learn. I have to admit, I've had to learn how to manage people, and I've had to say, this is your task. This is what you need to go and do, and go off and do it, and come back to me when you're finished.
So what you're telling me is you're not a spanner thrower.
No, I don't.
No.
Are you sure you're Italian?
Mate,
I'm actually going to say there are points where I have broken, and my staff have seen that, and so did my neighbours. With a certain client that accused us of tampering with his car. And I don't think the boys have never seen. They go, the guy's building a house next door, and one of them's out. We work on their car, the builder, and he came back. He goes, I didn't know Mike could do that. And it was like and he goes, I didn't know Mike had that in him. And I think they all didn't know I had it in me either.
It's the fiery Italian, mate. The fiery Italian.
But in saying all of that, I mean, I'm still learning. Again, I class myself as I'm a good mechanic, right? I'm really good at fixing cars. I think I'm really good I love it. I love the challenge. I love having problems. I love, and I say that I love having problems when I have time to diagnose them. I love the challenge. I love the concept of our job. But we can be a really good mechanic, and then you've got to learn how to be a businessman.
Yeah, and a lead. Yeah, absolutely.
And this is what comes with our business. It's like you become a really good mechanic, so you get lots of customers, and then you go, oh my God, I don't know how to charge these people right. and so you can be a really good mechanic who's not a good business person.
Yeah.
Who then, and this, I give credit to my wife who's studied business and is a really good business person. I mean, I'm okay. She takes it to a whole other level. And then on top of that, you get and then I've now got to manage people. Yeah. And it's like, well, hang on, I don't need to worry about the business because I can get someone to help me with that. I've got to manage people, I've got to manage staff, and I've got to motivate them and help them get through the day. And I'm lucky, I've got 3 really good guys, and there's a 4th guy joining us next year who's just out of school.
If that's a secret, Mike, I've not told anybody yet.
Oh, sorry. Just left school?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a hard school.
Yeah. No, but I'm really blessed with some great staff who can just who just get on with it, and they get stuff done. And you know what I mean? And they all pull their own weight, and they all have different skill sets, and they all blend together really, really well. And you know, like, I want a happy and nice environment for them to work in, because I'm working there too, right? And I know that might be a little bit selfish.
No, that's absolutely correct, though. I agree with that.
That's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
But I'm there too. I something I was going to say, and I don't know whether this is always going to be the case, but I'm there in the morning and I'm there at night. Yeah. I open up and I close up. I'm there before them. I start at 7 o'clock, 10 to 7 every morning, and I'm there after they've gone home, right? And I close up. And I think that's the captain, that's the leadership, that's the thing that I'm not. You know, a lot of people go into this and think they're going to have a cash cow and think that I'm going to put on these staff, I'm going to pay them, you know, $1,500 a week, and they're going to run my shop for me, and it's going to be easy, right? And they're going to look after my customers. They're going to treat them really well. Customers sometimes are very, very hard to deal with. And we all know that, right? And it's not a nice part, like, you know, and I've got a very laid back attitude towards the way the boys are. I might snap every now and again, because I'm like, guys, we've got heaps of cars here. What's going on? You know, like, everyone's had lunch. You've all had a, you know, you kick back, but Jesus,
there's no siesta time.
No siesta.
No, my little Tamagotchi. He needs feeding, sleeping, and then he's okay. He's all right. He's
I don't think you can technically say that, Mike. Anyway,
but mate, I think you're right. I think if you're showcasing those leadership qualities, they tend to see, or your team tends to see that you're just as invested in the business as what you want them to be as well. Or so I mean, I know, and I've spoken to a lot of guys who sort of take the standpoint, well, I'm the boss, I'm employing the staff, they work for me, they should be working, really hard. They're not setting a good example as leaders, and they just sort of have this expectation that, oh, well, they should know what they're doing. They should be running the shop. They should be doing this. They should be doing that. They're my staff. Well, the fact of the matter is you need to show that you're a leader and lead by example, So if like you said, Mike, you're there in the morning, you're there in the afternoon, you're steering the ship, I think they're good leadership qualities.
Yeah. I guess there's always two approaches to everything. There's a carrot and stick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which do you choose? You know what I mean? Do you make it that, if like I say to all of my staff, if you guys can churn, if it's a machine, right?
Yeah.
Like we get this. If you guys can get through the work, and I'm very, very conscious of the work that we book in, and I'm like, there have been numerous conversations. Kyle might even be watching where I've said to Kyle, I'm really sorry, mate. And I've got a car in there right now that I'm like, I'm doing it. It's a 1970s freaking Falcon front end shocks.
That sounds horrible.
And the boys like got to get the air chisel out and chisel off the rivets to change it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, this is not, and I'm, there have been other jobs where I've just gone, mate, I'm so sorry. It's right. I know. I personally, I wouldn't want to be doing that job, and I have, and I will apologize. And there will be some jobs where I'll just say to the customer, mate, I'm not interested because I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want to give that. Much as you can sit there and go, you can see the dollars, but you can sort of sit there and go, just
you see the grief.
Oh, it's just not worth it. It's not worth. It's not worth putting them through that, right? And I don't. I'm sort of, like there's some jobs where you just go, oh, I don't know whether we really want to do that because and you really you knowing that that's what the job is, and I think that's leadership to me. I have never been formally trained. I've never had anything to like you, Pete. Like I look at all different ways that everyone. Like Costa said, like I look at mates who are builders and lawyers and they manage teams of 50 or 60 people.
Yeah.
And I just go, I talk to them about, they vent to me about their problems. And I go, wow, how did you manage that? Like what, and you said, I've got mates that are in Hong Kong managing 30 or 40 lawyers, you just go, wow, like what?
So can I ask guys then, have you guys got different management styles or different leadership styles for different staff? Do they respond differently to different things?
I did when I had different people. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I have.
You have to.
I don't know whether that. Yeah, everyone works at a different pace.
There's just people. Yeah, it's just different people require a different thing. But I do want to touch on
that's something that just can't be taught how to deal with different people. Different strokes for different folks. I always say, but.
And you get to learn them, I think, as well, Jeff, because you're obviously with them every day. You start to learn how
you
people
spend more time with them than you do with your partner, or
Yeah.
And I think that's something about that is, to me, is being in a family business. And my mate who runs a building company, he sort of said to me, "Remember, they're your staff; they're not your mates." And I went, "Well,
it's hard though. It's hard to
I'm actually going to go. That's not that. No, these boys are like, I have a beer with them every night, and we chat and we talk shit, and you just, that's what it is. It's your mates."
When did you start drinking beer?
Yeah, Mike, that's new.
I never knew. Sorry.
These boys are mates, and like I even like I've had some very, very like mate style conversations. Like like it's and very candid. If you need me, I'm here. Just give me a yell. Like don't. Like, you know, as a friend, or not as your boss, as a friend.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's hard for them because they always look at you like, shit, he's the boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, I just look at them like, mate, you know, you're a mate. You know, in as much as saying I'm about to buy a boat that needs batteries, and I'm like, I said, Kyle, I need a hand to put the batteries on it. And Kyle's like, haven't you got any friends? I'm like, no, I just got you.
I'll help you put the batteries on there, mate. I won't charge much.
But I think it's good. Everyone's got or picked up different leadership skills over the years, and I think by steering the ship as a leader, you're sort of really influencing your team and setting a really good example. I think.
Mad opportunity here for business coaching and leadership coaching. What about you?
Well, mate, can I be honest? We've actually got a leadership coach on at the moment. We employed a leadership coach a few weeks ago as a consultant, and really just sort of trying to drive some different leadership skills for us with our team, because our teams are now growing. So, you know, there's different. What we've found is everyone's got a different style, different personality, and it's important for a leader to sort of understand that and adapt their leadership style to different employees. And you know, and we were sort of I wouldn't say we were struggling with it, but there's always something new to learn. So we've sort of decided that we would employ a leadership coach and really start to learn a bit more about management and leadership.
Maybe we should get them on Wednesday night live.
Mate, he's actually quite good. So, but maybe we should. But
we got Pete. We don't need anyone else. We got Pete.
Yeah. Oh God!
I'm throwing you under the ball. Well, listen, you learn everything you can off him, and then bring it here.
Pete, can you just do me a favour? Get your leadership guy to change your clock, because your clock's wrong behind you.
I know.
It's really annoying me.
2:45. 2:35.
Can you just change it, will you, Pete? Just change it.
So, Jeff, what about you? How was the leadership? What leadership did you have in the UK?
So obviously I worked for myself from 2005 up until 2017. I was probably pretty terrible. Just listening to what Mike said about how you deal with customers. What I did know is that the customer was paying our bills. Yeah. So I made sure that the customers were happy. I could have done a lot more, and maybe there's one guy in particular that worked with me for about 4 years. It was fantastic. I took him from an apprentice, and he ended up joining the army. I do think that if I did things better, he wouldn't have joined the army. But do you know what? He did what he did. He served his country, which is nothing wrong with that. But he was one of the best guys. Young Adam. He was a great guy, and maybe if I'd have known how some of you guys work and how you treat your staff, you know, a long time ago, things would have been different. But hey ho, I'm in Australia, is what it is.
Well, that's right, yeah.
But the key thing is, you know, and I probably say this a few times a week, but don't forget the customers are the people that pay you. And you've got to be good with them, and you know, whoever deals with your customers, a member of staff or yourself, front of house or whatever, they've got to be good. But I'm just taking out of what Mike was saying.
Well, you know, where I was coming from with that is sometimes people's attitudes. Well, how you deal with your customers is also how you deal usually with your. I mean, they see how you deal with the customer. Your staff do.
Yeah.
Right? And your staff
by example.
They emulate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the leading by example. That's like, no, we are going to treat our customers like the customer is. And I know people will go, no, the customer is not always right. Well, mate, I can tell you right now, we've been in business for 100 years under the principle that the customer is right. I don't care. They're always right. We just look after the customer because they are paying our bills.
Except for that one guy.
Yeah. Well, when you threw your spanners.
He didn't pay a bill.
Right? Okay, well, he's not even a customer.
Oh, well.
He wasn't a customer because he didn't do any work.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Talking about throwing spanners, I'll remember this as clear as day. I remember I was probably 18, 19. I was a bit known for hot temper. Throwing my spanners, and Dad had a few employees, and I was one of them. I remember throwing some spanners around, and he just stood there, the calmest person I've ever met, just stood there, watched me throw spanners. I don't know how many I threw. And he just went, when you're done, you are aware you have to pick them up, right? And walked away. That's it. Didn't say anymore.
Are you finished?
Are you done? Because when you're done, you've got to collect them. I was like,
Oh, that's
like, don't
awesome.
ask anyone else.
But I think that's something to do with our patience. I think that's really. I mean, I know my.
That's how I
father-
started to learn patience. Like I didn't have patience before, but I'm definitely better now.
I was terrible. I was terrible.
Patience comes with age, but I think it also comes with understanding problems and slowing down and realizing when to walk away and when to come back. And you sometimes need to go for a walk around the block, or
Yeah, that was my trick after
I remember throwing a seat latch, and my garage was in an alleyway. This must have been about like 2006, 2007.
You got some cracking stories, Jeff.
And
I must admit.
I lost my shit. I was working on my own at the time. I lost my shit. I was making. I had a custom with. Did you guys ever get Citroen AXs?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Right, okay, it's done you a favor.
So you said Citroen.
Lost me a Citroen.
I saw
one
a Citroen in your workshop on Monday, mate.
Lost me
a
at Citroen
in your workshop on Monday. Anyway, I had a customer and he was like 20 stone and he was in this tiny car.
What's that in English?
What's that in kilos, mate?
Yeah.
What's that in kilos?
Oh, it's English.
Okay, 400 kilos. What is it?
Pretty big. Pretty big. And
20 stone. What's 20 stone?
It depends on the size of the stone.
Can somebody Google it while I tell this story?
It depends on the size of the stone.
It's 20 stone.
I'm googling it now.
Yeah, was it sandstone? Was it?
Don't be racist. Anyway, he wore his seat out, and I dealt with the scrapyard, and I couldn't get the right seat, so I had to make one out of two and take all the covers off, and I was putting his seat catch. Anyway, this seat catch wouldn't fit, or for whatever reason, I can't quite remember. And I threw this piece, and it went down the lane where my garage was, and it was two old ladies walking through. You know, there was like a lane to walk to the main road, and honestly,
and that's why he left the UK.
I do not know. I really apologized, and I was like, they were like lovely old ladies, and they were quite nice. I'm like,
they're dead now.
So
killed by a seat latch.
for those of us that don't know what a stone is, so it's 20 stones, 127 kilo.
Okay.
So big boy.
Big. It was a big boy. It was a big boy.
Oh, that seat would have been full of farts.
Why do you think I lost my temper? Yeah, no, I've lost my temper a few times, but anyway, that's not a conversation.
Do we want to ask maybe, because there is a bit of a delay between what we do and then by the time it goes about a 30-second delay, do we maybe ask the people watching what sort of leadership skills they have?
Yes, I'd love to know what sort of leadership skills they have, how they acquired them over the years, and how they're sort of leading their team and showcasing that sort of leadership quality. So I'd really like to know, because I know that there's a few guys that watch that actually some have multiple shops, some have multiple staff. I know that there's a gentleman on there, I think Jeremy, I think his name is, who runs a series of shops as well, and he obviously employs quite a few staff. So I'd really love to know his standpoint on leadership and how he goes
that's
with it.
Jeremy Stone, isn't it?
Jeremy Stone, yeah.
Melbourne, yeah.
So so I'd really sort of like to hear that, and if they can comment, on the live, would be awesome.
Well, our friend Ward's given us something already, which is practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be perfectly honest with that. I'm still learning, and I don't think I'll ever stop.
Yeah.
People management and dealing with people is a whole. It's like working on cars. I don't think you ever stop learning.
Absolutely.
There are all different types of people in the world, and everyone, I personally, I just like everyone to be happy, and if you're not happy, I want to know why, and I want to fix it. I want to provide solutions, not problems.
Speaking of working on cars, we might transition to the next subject, which was
slither away.
There was some mention on one of the posts about a gentleman who had a car come in that was it misdiagnosed or
not fixed,
or not
fixed to a certain standard, let's say.
Yeah, and how you sort of tell the customer without throwing the other tech under the bus,
or do you?
Or do you? I don't know. And this is the topic of discussion.
This is one of my pet hates. There's nothing worse than a mechanic opening the bonnet and who did this last? Who was in here last? Like, come on, So let's pose a scenario. So basically, you get
You get a car that comes into your workshop. It's been misdiagnosed and it comes into you. The customer then asks you and says, "Oh, did Johnny do the wrong thing by me?" Or what do you say? I want to know everyone's standpoint on this, because there was sort of
What was the scenario? So do we know what
so the scenario
Just I don't remember the exact scenario, but Pete's given us a imaginary one.
I'm just giving you an imaginary scenario.
I don't know. I mean, I'm always to go, look, if someone else has started a job and something's happened, I'm like, look, I'm happy to look at it for you, but you
should be going back. Yeah.
You realise we've got to start again. Right?
Well, I'll give you this scenario then. So, and we've had this a couple of times where we've serviced a vehicle and given the customer a report on their service, and they've said to me, why didn't the previous mechanic pick up on this stuff?
Yeah.
Good one.
Good
example.
So that's the scenario.
I've had that as a first time. So now I just go, look, I said, look, I can't. We've had plenty of this. First time customers, we give them a list and go, this is a report. These are all things going on. Oh, well, the last mechanic didn't tell me that. And I said, well, I said, look, I can only tell you what we can find. I'm not telling you we have to fix it. I can only tell you what we can see. And these are the things we can see. Yeah. So I said, and they said, well, what do I do? And I said, well, these are the things that we, if you were asking me, these are a priority. A, B, and C really need to be done today. D, E, and F, we could leave and we can push those things off. The spark plugs, yeah, they need doing, but they're not a priority. Your brakes are a priority, or these bushes are a priority, or this is.
But at no stage will you throw that other technician under the bus.
No.
Yeah.
Pete, look, I'll be perfectly honest right now. Like, we had one of your customers. We had a customer with a Robert Street Automotive sticker on it, and I didn't. I went, I don't know, and they're like, oh, they said I needed to do this, and I said, well, look, I don't know. I can't. I didn't know I had your sticker on it at that point, and I went, look, I don't know what these guys have done. I said, if you want me to diagnose it, we will diagnose it and look at it for you, and we will work out what's wrong. We were both right, by the way.
Okay.
They didn't tell me that, but I said, well, what did the other shop tell you to do? And he said, oh, the same thing that you've done.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, great.
I said, oh, okay. I said, well, so did you come to us for a second opinion? Yes, we did. I said, well, that's fine. You could have told me that at the beginning, and but I'm quite happy. I would have told you exactly the same thing. Yeah. Nothing would have changed. I would have said, look, let me have a look at it. Let us assess it, and there's going to be a fee.
Yeah. So regardless whether it was my shop or Johnny Blogs down the road, you're not throwing anyone under the bus. You approach it the same way. Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to say to someone, look, has someone else done some work on it? I mean, there's nothing worse than finding out halfway through a job that this car's. We had one the other day, a Barina, that had been everywhere. We noticed new EGR, this, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I rang the lady and said, if you've had heaps of stuff changed on this car. And she goes, yeah, we've been everywhere. I said, well, why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah.
I said, if you, like I said, what did the last couple of guys do? And all it needed was a set of spark plugs.
Right.
Can I ask you a question, Mike? Did you ask her? So you've got a car coming with a fault, but did you actually speak to the customer, before you started the job?
Yeah. Because I said, what's the problem? What's going on? Oh, look, it's just started to shake. It's running rough, and it's this. And I said, well, it needs a set of coil packs. And it needs a coil. It's a Barina. It needs a coil pack and a set of plugs. And then we're doing the job, and I'm going, Jesus, this has got a lot of new stuff on it. New throttle body, new EGR, I was looking at it going, I said, just out of interest, is this what's been going on? There's a lot of new parts on this car. She goes, yeah, we've been everywhere. No one can work out what's wrong with it. And I said, to their credit, that is not the problem that we've just found. We've found a misfire, right? And I said, to their credit, they can't fix it. I said, well, they have fixed it.
There's something else.
It's a different
come in with another problem, right?
Yeah.
And I said, every time you drive, Mum just gave up because the light, they fixed it, then the check engine light came on. I said, yes, but every time the check engine light comes on, it's found another problem. But when that light comes on, it does not run its monitors. They need to be explained what's going on. I said, I'm going to fix your problem today, but you've been driving your car for 6 months with the check engine light on. So it hasn't run any of its self-tests. It's run no monitors. As soon as that light came on, it said, no, we got a problem. We're not doing anything else.
Yeah.
We're kicking back and having beers and sitting by the pool. That's what your ECU is doing in the back of it. It's going, no, we are not.
We're going into Mike life.
But you're quite diplomatic. I know you're quite diplomatic as well, Costa, when you sort of approach this sort of scenario too. Very, very factual, you know,
Factual.
Very matter of fact about it.
Matter of fact, that's what it is. And if they want to get into the conversation about did the last guy do this, did the last guy do that, my conversation is that's not my conversation to have with you. That's your conversation with that mechanic. I don't get involved in that. I can only tell you what I can see. I can tell you what you need to fix it. Oh, but didn't he? Again, this is what the car needs. I do everything possible to not be baited into that conversation. So I do find that not a lot, but some of our customers do like to bait you into that conversation and try to get you to get involved into it. It's always my stuff always, and in dialogue of any time about a diagnostic job, one of the first questions was, has it had any recent repairs, and all this sort of stuff. That's a part of our before we even book it in, right? But then the dialogue always is going to be, this is the facts. We don't get involved in, I have been known if I do, let's say I know the service sticker and it's coming for a problem that I might think maybe it was misdiagnosed or maybe the quality of workmanship wasn't exactly there. I have called the guy up the road before and said, look, I'm going to send this person back to you. I'm just giving you a heads up, X, Y, Z. I'm not even going to charge him. I'm going to tell him that I spoke to you. So I'm not going to charge him, but just so you know, it has come to me and I'm telling him to come back to you. I feel that is initially the first time I tried doing that, I was told, what's it got to do with you? I'm like, no, you're not listening. I'm letting you know they're going to come back to you. So you're prepared.
Yeah.
I'm not going to charge them for our time because I'm going to say, I know you and I've called you already. So that way you guys can work. I don't want to be involved. You guys can work that problem out. And then, how he or she deals with that situation is up to them. But, giving them the heads up, I like to do that if I can. But not always, obviously. Depends on the shop and if you know them and stuff, for me personally.
Yeah. I think it's important to hold yourself to a pretty high standard. And I don't feel it's necessary to throw anyone under the bus,
No.
Look, there are probably people that might do it and to make themselves look a little bit better, but I certainly don't like doing that. I don't think it's honourable, and I think you should hold yourself in a pretty high regard. And there's no need, like you said. There's no need to get involved in that side of things. It's quite factual. Yeah, we've inspected this. This is what we found. This is the way we do things.
I think that was a big thing, though. I think back, like I want to say, I'm not going to say how long ago, but I think that was a thing where mechanics would be like, oh, who was last in here, just to make them, I don't know, are they trying to sell themselves? I don't know what. I never understood.
That's what it is.
What the attempt was.
It was the old-fashioned, and I've heard it so many times. And I remember a toolman telling me about this years ago, and he hated it when people used to say, oh, who was there last? Who did this last? And it's just,
you know what? A doctor would never do that.
Yeah.
A doctor would never do
days
that.
are gone.
Man, a doctor would never, ever, ever say another doctor's misdiagnosed or anything. They would always keep that professionalism at a very high standard, and I think we should as well.
Yeah, well, I think that what I was actually going to say before was I think that I've been saying this a lot recently, is that our industry has in the last, especially here in Sydney, in the last 5 years or 3 at most, right? Since we've changed so much in our attitude towards work. There are so many cars on the road.
Yeah.
And there's so many cars on the road all around Australia, and there's not enough mechanics. Yeah. Right? We have a trade shortage. We have a workshop shortage. We need to, if you're worried about, okay, I'm going to spruik some numbers, and these numbers don't mean much to anyone else around there, but I'm going to say we work on 4,000 cars a year. My database is 4,000 cars. My LGA, we can segue to the AAAA in a sec, because the AAAA will give you your car park data by your LGA, your local government area. My local government area has 250,000 cars.
There's plenty of cars for everyone.
So I work on 4,000 of them.
Not even
Yeah.
10%.
Do you think there's not enough cars for the Bridgestone down the road, or the 15 other workshops that are up that are all up at 5 o'clock? Do you think I'm worried about what they're doing, or why and do I think they're stealing my customers? Do you think that there's any reason that we
I think we've said this so many times, like even between us, whenever we catch up, it's like there's so many, there's more than enough cars for everybody. It's okay.
Yeah.
I sat in traffic the other day and would have seen 4,000 cars go over the Gladesville Bridge through Drummoy. Right? And I went, that's my customers. And we could sit there and just go, there's Pete's, there's Costa's, there's Jeff's, there's Joe's, there's Gianni's, there's whoever's. It doesn't.
But I think
there is so much work out there.
Yeah.
And if you just do the right thing, and you're honest, because I'm not doing any hard sells, right? Putting your cabin filter in, selling you a cabin filter that you don't want, right? Mind you, you got a Gucci handbag, but putting your cabin filter in for $20 with your Gucci handbag and your Gucci umbrella that you accidentally left in my office.
I feel like it's very specific.
I'll buy that, Mike.
This is very specifically targeted to one person.
No, it's not. It's not. There's a few of my customers that do it. It's like your $20 cabin filter ain't stopping me sending my kids to private school, or ain't putting food on the table this week. It is not breaking the bank. So if you don't want it, we'll put your old one back in. But just check out the photo I just sent you. And then they go, oh yeah, okay, you can put that in. It's like $20. It's like, you just sort of sit there and go, putting a set of wind runs on your Range Rover.
We get that all the time.
It's $200,000 car with the cheapest tires on the market that you possibly can find. That doesn't
mean they're a bad tire. Disclaimer.
No.
Yeah, no, we're not throwing anyone under the bus.
You're just saying they're cost effective.
Is that win run? Win run, they're taking us to court.
They're just saying they're cost effective. That's all we're saying.
We're not podcasting this one.
All we're saying is that they are cost-effective tires.
What about landfill? Landfill. Now, who makes a tire called a landfill? I've sold a few landfills.
Cost-effective. Move on.
Well, look, let's move on. Well, you did mention the AAA, and that was going to be the next topic of conversation. Was the AAA in Melbourne?
Are you done with the Gucci bag?
I mean, I think at some point we need to talk about. There's been some banter around about why should anyone be in an association. I mean, there are lots and lots of associations and groups. The Garage Network now is really an association. When we're
Mike, why don't you tell us about the AAA?
Yeah, Mike, tell us about the AAA.
What's so good about it?
What's so good about it? Tell me what's the really exciting news?
My first board meeting. I've just been elected onto the board of the AAA, which is a fantastic honor. And
congratulations!
Thank you.
I've got some audio here of Mike being elected for on the board.
I can't hear you.
Oh.
I don't want to. I had a meeting at the Pentagon.
Oh my goodness. I asked for a recount. Okay. I said I don't believe the ballot. We need a recount. I did get elected onto the board of the AAA, which was fantastic, and thank you so much.
Super exciting news.
Everyone on the Garage Network that supported me, a special thank you to everyone that voted for me, and for the support that I got from Asden WA, Asden New South Wales, TAT. Jeff Smith doing that video was all. I can't thank everyone enough. It's an extreme honor, bit of pressure on me. Obviously, these things are not paid. It's all voluntarily. It's all voluntary. I'm now sitting on the board, which gives me a seat at the table to drive a bit of our sort of agenda. Anything that anyone's got, any problems that anyone's got, we can sort of. I believe the AAA is a great conduit between us and the manufacturers and our parts suppliers. So there are a few issues and a few things. I've mentioned some of them today. I think Brad McGrath asked a question about warranty stuff, and that Craig Bales I don't know what the board's like. I don't know what I'm a new kid on the block. So I got to give me a bit of time to get my head around that. I'm on there for 2 years. I'd like to make some changes with our trade agreements with some of our suppliers that will help us in various ways to make things a lot easier to address some of the main problems that I'm seeing here at the coalface. I am like you. I have a workshop. I deal with customers, and I see from customer supplied parts to warranty issues to labor problems that we're having in the industry to the image of our industry to the general public. All of those things I see and I'd like to address, but I don't want to go to these people with problems. They know the problems and they know of them, right? But we need to go to them with solutions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I may ask you as a group and you as my other fellow Garage Network admins and directors to come up with, we need to come up with solutions. And I really, I'll be chatting to you guys to go, guys, come on, give me some feedback. We need some help with this. I need some help with this. The AAA needs help with this. We need to provide a solution. What would make us all happy? That's not going to make everyone happy. I mean, obviously this is like a political thing. You can't keep everyone happy, but the majority rule. So
yeah. Mate,
At least
congratulations.
we know that there's a voice there. It's nice for. I know Craig's been there for a while and he's been sort of advocating for us for a while, but it's nice to have another independent on there.
Well, I've got Craig's back and Craig's got mine, but I think that's what we've discussed that, and sort of it'd be nice to have a bit of independent support. I mean, the AAA really is the Automotive Aftermarket Association of Australia, which is automotive aftermarket parts, right? So the group was originally made up of our parts suppliers, the Rycos, the Bendix, the all of those manufacturers that manufacture DBAs, our parts manufacturers. They were the core part of the group, and they have this great trade show that goes on every 2 years, and every other year there's another show called Auto Care. So I think not that I'll talk about membership at a later date and why it's good, but I was going to touch on the fact that I think a lot of people have asked, why be a part of the group? We're going to go out there and we're going to fight for what's best for the industry, whether you're part of the group or not.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you're in it or not. And the same way in New South Wales, the Motor Traders Association are doing the same thing as a similar, like not fighting the same battles, different battles. And these battles are happening all over the place. The MTA are dealing with the New South Wales government, the MTAA, which is the Motor Traders Association of Australia. They're their parent group, which deal with things at a federal level. And then you've got the AAA, you've got groups like TAT, you've got Capricorn. Obviously, all of these things all have different benefits, but they all fly different flags and do different things, right? And I think that I can talk about different things. For the Motor Traders Association in New South Wales is very good for me because they offer on-site training for my apprentices. They offer very good rates on FPOS machines, and I have a voice at it. Well, when we go to a meeting here in New South Wales, we have a voice to the New South Wales state government, and they have a very good connection with that, to the RMS and to our state government. So,
Dean Bowers just mentioned, don't forget ARCA.
Yes. Well,
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Hang on. So if I go to the AAA, the AAA board that I'm sitting on really is the Automotive Aftermarket Association, who run that show. Off the bottom of that is ARCA, which is the Automotive Repair Council of Australia, which is our, as independent repairers and as repairers, as mechanics. That is the biggest growth area, is us joining the AAA. We are the bigger member base. There's obviously more mechanics. Again, it's like the cars. It's like there's obviously more of us as mechanics, auto electricians, and then there are parts suppliers. There's getting less and less parts suppliers and manufacturers. That the side of that is not growing as much as we are. There's more of us. But being a part of this association and these associations is very powerful. Yes, they cost money. You can't be a part of them without that, but your voice will be heard, and you're involved in things, and those things are things like the show. I mean, you don't even have to be a member of the AAA to attend the show. I think
which
we spoke about that.
which we're all doing next year.
Booked.
Yes,
We're booked.
yes.
We're actually booked.
In April next year, you can attend the show. We will be down there. We'll be hosting events on the Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. They'll be they're to be confirmed times, things like that. We're going to try to make sure we don't cross over with any other TAT events or other drinking events that are on, or dinner events.
But important for the Garage Network members to make sure that they jump on our website, register as a member, so then they can get
access to all these stuff.
Access and then
so
membership and access to all that.
There's a few things. If you can't make the show, don't be. I mean, look, I think you really need to go. We'll be going live from throughout the inside of the show throughout the day at different times. Costa and I will be, and the boys will, and we'll go live and we'll walk around the show and show you stuff that we think is really cool. Obviously, for those that may not want to attend or may not be able to attend, but those that can attend, we will be having social events outside of the show hours. We're not sure what's going to happen during the show, but we might have a couple of things on during the show. But our main focus has been on after hours events, dinner and drinks. Really, I mean, it's wherever we go after the show is finished, and the things for you guys to do. Come together, meet other mechanics and techs from all over the country. Get together and have a drink, and we can socialize and get to know one another and have a meet. And we can do that off the back of some of our partners. And
absolutely.
We've just partnered with, and they've given us some money to do that, which is really, really good. So you can come and I'll shout you a beer, or they'll shout you a beer.
Well, they'll be shouting beers on behalf of the Garage Network.
Yeah,
correct?
you know what? It's important to thank them as well, because we are partnering with some top people from the VACC who are sort of enabling us to provide this for our guys as well.
Yeah, VACC Auto, keep an eye out. Jeff's going to do some videos on VACC Auto, their technical site, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I used it today. I used the Mototech today. It was awesome.
Yeah, which
actually, you know who used it? Adam at John Dale used it. He gave me some very, very good feedback on it. He was sort of loving that guided component testing as well. So
if anyone in the Garage Network, if you don't see it, just keep an eye out for Jeff's videos. But if you do want to go and buy it, and you do decide to buy it, tag the Garage Network. There's a code.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
Is it? I think it's.
We'll find it.
But we'll double check.
Why don't we put it? We'll put it up.
We'll find it. Yeah, yeah. And we've got a couple other partnerships coming up, which we're not going to disclose.
Secrets.
Secrets.
No.
But again.
But just to do that, if anyone wants to go and buy our auto, they want to buy the technical information line, which gives you access to a few things. A couple of really important stuff that's there is the Haynes Online, their library, the Haynes Workshop Manual Library, and phone support. If you are on your own and you're old school like that, and you want to be able to ring someone and talk through a problem with someone, they have phone support, which a lot of the other tech suppliers at the moment and tech guys at the moment do not have.
So, Mike, I was blown away. I got a random phone call last week, and it was I can't remember his name.
That lady you threw the
looking for compensation, still can't walk.
And it was a guy from Arrow Auto, introduced himself. And any technical problems, anything that we can't find on the site to call him. Nice. I saved his number straight away, so I've not yet called him yet because I'm pretty good. But it's nice. It's not. I completely forgot that was there. So
it's about the only one that's still offering old school style phone support. So they're down there ready to answer your phone call, and I think it's a really good package. If you do. In the code section, put TGN and a couple.
We'll find the exact code for it.
We'll find it and post it. But what we'd like to do, if you do that, then we'll send you a shirt.
Yeah,
that sounds good. And
so if you tag us, we'll send you a shirt. So.
Maybe we'll put the link up, Costa, so they can access.
Yeah, I'll find the link and I'll put it in the comment section.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is I'll put in our YouTube and all that sort of stuff as well. And if you do use that, obviously send us a screenshot that you've used our code in the little section, and we'll organise to get a shirt.
Even if you're renewing for a new year and you're
same deal. If you want a free shirt,
put our tag in there, and we'll send you a shirt.
Yeah,
and then we'll buy you an extra beer when you're down in Melbourne. If you're
I
in
like
Melbourne.
it.
Well,
I like it.
our partners will.
Well, yeah.
So for those TGN guys that are going down to the AAA, please get in touch. You
Yes,
know,
mate,
and
look, the event will be posted on Facebook, but you will not be able to attend unless you're registered on our website.
yeah, so jump on the website and register. It's free. It's free, so you don't have to pay a TGN membership. It's free. Jump on.
We have a couple of comments.
I love Lee.
Yeah, we've got a couple. That's why I was
Beers and
laughing.
free shirts are winning.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's why I was.
Listen, the Garage
That's what I
Network
love.
here for the beer.
Yeah,
Here for the beer.
Here for beer.
Look, we do have some constructive ones as well, not just free beer and shirts, which that's what I was grinning at. But we have Hayden was saying he's been using VSCC Monotech site for 3 years now. Found it super helpful, and also the hotline is also amazing. Adam, hey, good Adam, how you going, mate? He's rebooked the car for testing to use it. And helps offer staff giving customers a quick time frame. Yep, cool.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think there's quite a bit of depth with it as well, and there's a few things that I haven't really gone into. I know the guys sort of gave us a live demo, but I haven't gone into it personally, but I've gone into the Haynes stuff, and I found that awesome. So yeah, definitely jump on that.
Yeah, it's really good. So check it out, guys. There's a few other things that VACCR Auto do, but we'll talk about those at a later date.
But back to the AAA, I think we were talking about getting there, meeting each other, and how, like, for me, that to me is very important. Even the social aspect of the AAA. Don't get me wrong, awesome things to see. You can meet probably companies you never even knew were available in Australia. But I think, like, even us as a group, except for Pete, we met here in Sydney, but most of the other guys from the Garage Network, although we were all in Sydney, we never actually had time to meet each other. So we actually all, right at the beginning of the Garage Network, there was only
How
5
did you
people.
meet Mike Costa? Just remind me.
Not getting into that story, but we met for the first time.
Costa and I met for the first time in Melbourne.
Yeah, the very first time. You Peter Banning as well. There's a couple other guys that although we were all in Sydney, only ever actually first met in Melbourne. And I think that, like, for me, I've made some pretty awesome friendships from that, and also obviously networking, but I made some good friendships and people that I know I can talk to if I need to. Like,
it was great. It was just a really good. It was.
You're not thinking about you're a bit out of, although you're out of work mode, you're still with people that understand you as well. Like it's nice.
Yeah, you can talk shop without talking shop, and
correct.
Too, But I have to admit, one of the things. I mean, I've been going to the AAA trade show in Melbourne for over 20 years.
Wow.
When it first started, right? When they used to have one in Sydney, one in Melbourne. I used to go to the one in Melbourne every second year, and whenever it was many years ago.
Was it harder in black and white?
Yeah, it was.
Well, he didn't fly down. He had to go down on his dinosaur, didn't he?
I thought he flew on a pterodactyl. Yeah.
It was a Coventry cart. I mean, Jesus, took 3 days to get there.
Yeah.
All we had then was
steam
all
train
wagon wheels, mate. It was just all wagon wheels.
Steam train.
But no, I used to go down, and for me, the last show was the best show I've ever had, and it was hanging out with you guys and meeting all of the guys from the Garage Network. It was the beginning of was 4 years ago or whatever it was. I think 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it was. But it was the best show that we'd ever been to. There was something for us to do after hours, and it was a really good. It was just really nice to hang out with people and meet people, like-minded people who want to help one another. And you we met Danny from South Australia.
That's right.
There was some from all over the country. It was a really good event, and it was we went out for dinner and we had some great times and made some great memories, and it was really good. It was. And anyone that wants to know how Costa and I actually met, just come to the show. And
you got to come to the show. We'll reenact it. Yeah.
Really?
No, well, look, that's good. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm sure some of the other guys are. So make sure that anyone on the Garage Network be in touch, so we can sort of meet up at some capacity.
Yeah.
We'll make events. We'll make events. We'll make
down
events.
there. We'll sort out the events. So they will. We've got you need to get on our website and get a member number and get that sorted. We'll get the membership.
Yeah.
So because we need to know who's coming, because we just we're not having a Corey Worthington Facebook party.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to have to be. We're going to have like allocated seating. I'm pretty sure that there'll be some form of COVID restrictions
Yeah,
still. So we're going to be booking places and making sure we want to make sure that where we go is going to be nice. It's going to be accommodating for us as well. But still enjoyable. So
I've got just the place.
Yeah, I know a guy. Yeah.
Justin knows a place.
Yeah.
Justin knows a place.
Right, okay.
So look, I think we round out. I think we did.
I just want to mention one thing.
Go.
So we got obviously the Tom Denton training coming up.
Yes.
So for everyone listening, I will make a few more posts during the week. You should have all received automated emails already with some links in there for the YouTube, for the Zoom link for the training. Just a reminder, 2 rounds, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is one of them, and then you got the 6:30 p.m. as well, Tuesday next week.
The 6:30 is sold out though, yeah?
No, the 8 p.m. is totally sold out.
And the 6:30 only
6:30 we've got a couple of spots left only.
Okay.
So if you do want them, you can find the links. If you go to the announcements on the page, you'll see it's one of the first comments up there. There's an Eventbrite link. Click, pay. It goes over 6 weeks. About an hour a week is all you need. They will be recorded. So if you miss a week for whatever reason, let me know and we can send you a copy. So don't stress because we had a guy that does shift work, works at night, doesn't work at day. So he can still get access to that sort of stuff. So awesome. Even if you can't be there live, ideally you are there live because then you can ask your questions that you have. Tom is pretty good at being interactive. So that'd be ideally, but if not, and you still want to be a part of the training, you can definitely just watch it in a later date.
And these are fundamental principles too. So so I know. So you don't necessarily have to be light vehicle to do it. Right. I know Trev from Site Tech is actually enrolled to do it as well, and he works on telehandlers and things like that. So it's important to sort of understand these basic principles can be applied over
light vehicle, heavy vehicle,
absolutely,
plant, whatever it is, marine. It'll all work. Yeah,
it's all the same. So it's the old school principles. It's our basic principles going right up to using your scope. So
starts from what is electricity to ending on how to use a scope and what it means, So it's pretty diverse. Sorry, Mike, cut you off.
Oh, no. I was going to go. Next year is going to be really exciting in this space as well, guys. We've got some more training lined up.
We've got some secrets.
Don't tell Mike any
We've got some secrets. We've got some secrets.
Don't say anything. How many beers are you in, Mike? So
you got to be careful.
We're
good then. We're safe.
You know what? We're good. That's why I haven't said anything. If you had 2 or 3 beers,
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to go, guys, watch this space. 2022
we got some
is going to be some really, really, there's some really cool stuff.
I think people are going to be surprised at what's coming up. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Awesome.
We can't spill the beans just yet, but just watch this. You'll know before the end of the year.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, guys. What do you reckon? We round out?
Round it. Done.
I love it. Guys, thank you very much for tonight. I hope,
quick look, just in case we got any dying questions.
Pat, we know you're going to be there because you're there for the beer.
Yeah.
But definitely want, if anyone watches this, if they've got any comments on any leadership techniques, skills, or anything like that, drop it in the comments.
If you'd like to see, if we want to get Pete's leadership coach on, or get him to pinch a bit more information.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll ask him. I reckon he'll be keen.
Awesome.
He loves the sound of his own voice. No. All right, guys. Well, look, thanks for tonight. Thanks for everyone that's
bye watched. From us.
And we will.
Thank you very much.
We'll catch you soon. Take care.
See you guys.
Cheers. Bye. See you later. Bye.
Don't forget to join our private Facebook page if you are an automotive technician, and also subscribe to our YouTube and our podcast channel. They are all called The Garage Network. Thanks, guys, and see you next time.